Tesla's robotaxi plans are finally hitting the road. Starting June 2025, we will see the first Model Y robotaxis in Austin, Texas. Now, Tesla says they've already done over 1,500 rides with their internal employee testing. So they've been taking employees in the San Francisco Bay Area as well as Austin, Texas, in their robo-taxis to be able to try for themselves so they can have some internal testing and understand how they're going to cover their robo-taxi service end to end. This employee test phase helps Tesla understand how their fleet works. I mean, you're going to have a robo-taxi fleet. You got to understand how you're going to run things from charging to cleaning, then mission control. You want to be able to know what's happening with the vehicles at all times, know where they are, know the condition of them, where they're going, as well as things like the app. Understanding how the app will work, communicating with the person who called the robotaxi. There's a lot of logistics that go in a robotaxi service. And of course, we know companies like Waymo and even Cruise, GM's Cruise, had it down to a T. I say Waymo to this point has it down to a T because end to end, it is truly a really good service. And they're already in Phoenix, they're in San Francisco, they're now in Los Angeles. Apparently, they're expanding to Atlanta and other cities as well. And so Waymo is quickly ramping up. And of course, Tesla has got to do the same. Now, Tesla says that they will scale quicker than Waymo. Of course, unlike Waymo, where they have to take their vehicles and they have to install a LiDAR sensor suite and all of the computers that go with the Waymo vehicle so they can have the vehicles know its surrounding and, of course, move people. That's what it's supposed to do. The Tesla vehicle, specifically the Model Y, we know is all of its sensor suite already built in the vehicle from production with the cameras, with its computer that will help it know its surroundings. And so Tesla just has to make the vehicle and that's it. They make the vehicle and it becomes a robotaxi. And they think that with this model, with this process, they'll be able to scale quicker in more cities and essentially have more robotaxis on the road. So the self-driving landscape is heating up pretty quick. Of course, in other parts of the world, specifically China, where there are already a ton of robotaxi services, finally, the US is getting something interesting. Now, Tesla says they're going to start super small, so like 10 to 20 Tesla Model Ys out there on the road with their robotaxi service. They will not be using the Cybercab that they unveiled late last year. They will just be using the Model Y, but of course, it will have the same sensor suite and computers that we know will be in the robotaxi. And honestly, it just makes more sense to use a Model Y. The Model Y, especially the new Model Y, is a pretty dialed in vehicle. The ride is good. I think something like the Cybercab probably wouldn't have as good of a ride. It's lower to the ground. It only seats two people versus the Model Y can seat up to five if someone is sitting in the driver's seat, but that's unlikely. So four people. And so I think the Model Y is a better choice. Even the Model X might have been a cool option. But yeah, we'll see a bunch of Model Ys soon around Austin, Texas. And Tesla's goal is to scale to other cities by the end of 2025. We'll see how quickly they ramp. Maybe they'll beat Waymo, but we see Waymo, again, already going out to a ton of other cities. Tesla, I imagine, again, they're starting off with Austin. San Francisco Bay Area will likely be next, and then they'll be moving on from there. But the interesting thing about it is Tesla's full self-driving isn't localized. What I mean is full self-driving isn't different in Austin, Texas with how it is in San Francisco versus how it is in New York or Atlanta. It is all pretty much the exact same software and it is actively learning its environment. So Tesla doesn't have to go city by city setting all of these parameters, helping the car learn. Pretty much you set the vehicle out there and anything specific to a certain region, it will learn on its own. But the actual brains, the software itself is essentially all the same. Hopefully I'm getting that right for all of you Tesla fanboys out there. Now, Elon specifically mentioned that the Tesla Model S, X, 3, and Y will be capable of unsupervised FSD in the future, but he didn't mention the Tesla Cybertruck. It is worth mentioning that still in 2025, almost 2 years since the Cybertruck has started production, the Cybertruck does not have basic autopilot. Of course, if you have FSD, then you're able to use that wherever, but it does not have basic autopilot like you would see in a Tesla Model 3 S, X, or Y that doesn't have FSD. So yeah, maybe the Tesla will have unsupervised FSD in the future, but it seems that Tesla is focusing on the sexy models when it comes to their either ride hailing or just unsupervised full self-driving. Now, Elon says Tesla could have 10 million vehicles in Tesla's fleet driving on the roads autonomously in just a few years. And I imagine that will be a mix of Tesla's regular vehicles as well as some of their Cybercab. The Cybercab still seems to be on track for production in 2026. However, it has been reported that due to Chinese tariffs, they have delayed importing some parts to help start production. So we will see what happens there. Again, it's Tesla Elon time, so things may take a while. Tesla even says that they're looking to introduce unsupervised FSD on customer-owned Teslas, ideally by the end of the year, which is kind of insane. I imagine it'll be geofenced, so think only Tesla owners in Austin or only Tesla owners in New York or San Francisco, the Bay Area, will be allowed to use it, and then they'll slowly scale from there. But I mean, just allowing that on customer cars is absolutely insane. Elon says that they expect the first Tesla vehicle to drive from the production floor to a customer's driveway by the end of 2025. Again, this is Elon time, so you got to add maybe 10 or 20 years, but I think that Tesla can do it. A couple years ago, I probably wouldn't say this, but slowly it seems like FSD using strictly vision may actually work. Tesla says that FSD supervised in China is working very well, and they want to remind people that they launched FSD in China without access to country specific data. So, without knowing how the roads are mapped or a bunch of data about China, they're able to just launch FSD and have it work on pretty much any road, which allow them to scale to more countries, more cities, more states, more territories. It just works well. They say that they are on track to introduce FSD supervised in Europe by the end of 2025. So everyone could soon see a robotaxi near them pretty soon. Something I found crazy was that Tesla thought the price of full self-driving supervised was just too cheap, which is kind of insane. It's like $8,000 now, $99 a month if you go for the monthly subscription. But yeah, they're looking at plans for their unsupervised and supervised versions of FSD. What is like the true cost of something like this? Because you have to imagine, I mean, what is the cost of having like an Uber at all times, a chauffeur, right, driving you around? Thousands of dollars. But is it worth 8,000, 9,000, 10,000, maybe 2,000? I don't know. What do you think the price on something like this is worth, especially the supervised version? Because you are still having to, in a sense, baby the system to ensure that it's working right. And so at this point, you're paying to help Tesla make more money by introducing a robotaxi service. Make sense? It's worth mentioning that Tesla currently has full self-driving unsupervised working on their cars at their Fremont and Giga Austin factories, driving from the end of the production line, going to the loading dock to being shipped, around the country. So it's kind of crazy. These cars are driving from the end of the production line, dealing with other cars going around, having to go to a specific part of the loading dock that's been numerized, and that's kind of nuts. So it's working within Tesla's own factory, and soon that will hit a road near you. I'm super curious, would you ride in a Tesla robotaxi? I mean, a lot of people, even today, ride on Tesla full self-driving supervised, and honestly, I gotta say it works well. There are some edge cases, but it does good. It actually works as a functioning system. But I know a lot of people trust in companies like Waymo, where they're heavily relying on things like LiDAR and radar and bigger sensor suites to just fully take in all of the road data and conditions to help train and lead its autonomous vehicle on the road. Now, Elon says they don't see Waymo as a challenger as at all. They think LiDAR is way too expensive, and they think that pure vision cameras is the key, along with audio, which is interesting. So I guess they're taking audio into the count of full self-driving, which I didn't know. I guess imagine, a cop car, right? The sirens, you hear that, the car pulls over. I definitely think it's going to be easier for Tesla to scale up their robotaxi service when they are building their vehicles from their production line with all of the hardware, the sensor suite, the computers, everything to be able to have the car drive itself autonomously. And again, it does that from production to the loading docks. And so every Tesla, at least today, is produced with some form of full self-driving to allow it to drive itself. We're still not sure how Tesla is going to resolve all of the hardware 3 and I guess even the hardware 2.5 in two vehicles that they promised would be able to drive themselves, but hardware 3 still has some limits on full self-driving that people are noticing. So we'll see how Tesla resolves that. Maybe they'll go to every hardware 2.5 and hardware 3 vehicle and replace it with a hardware 4 and, system or hardware 5. Tesla is adamant that the vast majority of their fleet will be capable of unsupervised FSD, so we'll see what actually happens. But I am curious, if you do end up driving in one of these unsupervised robotaxis in Austin, Texas, let us know. At us on Twitter, show us your videos. I'm looking forward to trying the experience myself one of these days. But yeah, again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think LiDAR is the way to go, or maybe Tesla has something right when it comes to scaling with vision? Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Out of Spec Bits, and I will see you guys in the next one.